Welcome to Face to Face, connecting theater makers to the public, a program from the Legacy Theater and socialdistancetheater.org.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Face to Face. My name is Lauren Rosenay, and I am the Legacy Theater's company manager. Today on the show, we have the legend, Mary Wilson. Mary is a founding member of the Supremes, which is the greatest female vocal group of all time.
And there we are.
She is also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a best-selling author, and she is also a musical theater performer. Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you, Lauren?
I am good. How are you? Can I just start off by saying that you look absolutely beautiful?
Oh my God, thank you.
Like jaw-droppingly stunning.
Thank you very much. Where are you located, Lauren?
I am in Connecticut.
Okay, cool. I just did a virtual video yesterday for Harlem Serves Up, and it was shown, where was it shown? In Connecticut and New York and New Jersey.
Wow.
So I don't know it's called Harlem Serves Up, and it shows all the different restaurants and things like that, and I and a lot of other artists were on it. So yeah, anyway, there you go.
So I'm sure some people know the story, and I'm sure some people don't, but just to start off, can you talk about how the Supremes started?
Oh, sure. Well, I've written 3 books, and my latest book, Supreme Glamour, kind of gives all of the history about the Supremes and how we started. But just as a brief introduction to it, in case some people are like too young and they don't know who we were, we started back in 1959. And God, it seemed like a long time ago. Anyway, 1959, at the age of, I think we were like 13, 14 years old. And we were discovered put together, I should say, by a group of guys called the Primes, Primes it's called. And they wanted a girl group. And so Florence Ballard, who was, her sister was dating one of the guys, something like that. And she said, oh, my sister Flo can sing. And Florence and I had met in school. So she told them about me. And then one of the guys knew someone who knew Diane, who lived across the street. They went across the street from where I lived, and asked her if she wanted to join. And that's kind of how we got together, because we went over to the guy's apartment, which our parents would have killed us had they known we were going to these guys' apartment, right? And so they asked us if we could, sing any songs. And Florence started singing one of Ray Charles's songs. The nighttime is the right time. And Diane started singing one of the Drifters songs, There Goes My Baby. And also there was another girl. We had 4 members in the beginning, and her name was Betty. She was dating one of the guys, so she was there, and she chimed in, and that's how we started singing. But we were called the Primettes, because in those days, girls, the gender was very important. So XLs, like the Chantels, the Shirelles, the Ronettes, donated gender there. So that's how we started.
And so you were in the most famous and successful female vocal group in history. What does that feel like?
Well, it feels great. Are you kidding? Now, what am I? I'm 76 years old, and been in the business for almost 60 years. I think it is 60 years. I'm not sure. So to still be able to say that, I'm singing and people hear our music all the time, they listen to it. I mean, I was in the grocery store the other day with my mask on, of course, and and they were playing I Hear Symphony, and I'm like, oh my God, that's us. So it feels great to know that you were a part of something so fantastic, because see, back in the day, Lauren, when we started singing, Black people were not really revered like they are nowadays, in terms of music, the James Browns and we were just Black people. So, for us to start singing and 3 little Black girls daring to dream in the, let me see, it was the late 50s and early 60s, that was pretty much an impossible dream. So yeah, it feels great. It feels great to still be alive, especially during this COVID-19 thing going on. So that was it, yeah.
What was the moment for you when you realized to yourself, I've made it?
Well, that was, you know what, that was many years later because, as I said, we started singing at the age of 13 or 14, something like that. And we were just doing record hops dances in the community. And we didn't go to Motown Records until, what, 1961. And we got a contract then. It took a while. It didn't happen overnight. That's what I was trying to say. And what it was because we had been singing, around Detroit, Michigan, just doing little, little singing gigs and things like that. And when we finally went to Motown in 61, signed our contract, and our first hit record didn't come out until 1964. So that was, that was a long time in between that we had just going around gigging and doing, hanging out in these wonderful places. So it wasn't an overnight thing, was what I'm trying to say. But when it finally happened in 1964, oh my God, we knew that we had made it when we had that first #1 record. It was amazing because back then, you had the British invasion was coming in, and all these male groups, you know what I'm saying, they were out there. But our first 5 records were #1 million selling records. And that was amazing for Black people back in those days because we were at the bottom of the totem pole. So for us being, and women, not just being Black, but being women in those days, because it was a man's world, like James Brown said, So for us to do that, to accomplish that with the Elvis Presley, the Beatles, and all those males out there, we were the only girl groups who had the 5 #1 million selling records. And this was amazing because as Black people, like I said, the Civil Rights Bill had only just been passed in 1964 when our hit record came out. So this was an amazing feat. It wasn't just something that today everyone gets hit records. In fact, they're outselling us all over the world and doing everything, but we did it all in the 60s. I just did this week on Sirius XM radio, an all-girl group hour, and I was the DJ.
Wow.
And I just spoke with Sarah Dash, Patti LaBelle, the Bluebell, a moment ago. Some of the Dixie Cups just emailed me and said, "What time is the show going to be on?" I'm like, "I don't know, but it's on all week, this Monday through Saturday, so it's on all week." So anyway, so that's that story about the girl groups.
So a lot of our viewers are theater fans, so I would love to touch on some of your musical theater experience. So you are in Beehive, and I know you were in a few other shows. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yes, I've been in quite a few musicals, and Beehive was one of my main ones that I absolutely had so much fun because I had an opportunity to be the host of the show, and we toured. I originally did the shows there in Stage West. It was in Canada. I'm trying to think of Calgary. I think it was Calgary. And I was there for quite a while doing that show with some wonderful, wonderful performers, girls. And we all played, we played the Crystals, the Chantels, the Shirelles, the Ronettes, and there were some girls in there who they played the Shangri-Las, so we did all that. And then I did the Beehive, I think it was in Atlanta, Georgia. And before I go on to the other theatrical things I've done, which is not many, but I mean, as a singer, I've done quite a few. So then I had the opportunity to do a couple of off-Broadway plays. Mother Hubbard, I think one of them was called, and did another one there. Funerals. Oh God, oh my God, what is the name of that one? Sorry, I'm getting it all mixed up. In the UK, I did Dancing in the Street with Edwin Starr and Martha Reeves. But in Sweden, I did another one, Supreme Soul, I think it was called. And I was there for about 3 months. But I also did something that was a musical, and I'm very proud to say I was a part of that, the Vagina Monologues. Mm-hmm. And that was great. I did that in Detroit, Michigan at the Opera House. And it was a wonderful experience in that the part I played, there were many different roles, and each artist, female, would speak on certain subjects. And mine had to do with the subject of, I think it was something with the cruelty against women and the vagina, in African countries where they mutilate the genitals and all that. And it was really quite, a dramatic kind of piece to do. And I was very honored that they asked me to do that part. I'd love to do that again now that I think about it. Anyway, so I've done different musicals, some of them not well known, but I've been sort of all my life in being involved in those kind of things. My friend, I'm going to turn this so you can see this. I think I can see this picture. Where's Flo? There she is up there. Can you see Flo?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what I'm doing now is working with the U.S. Stamp State Department Stamp Committee, and I'm putting together a proposal for them. So I'm trying to get a stamp, a U.S. stamp for Florence Ballard, who passed away in 1976. And we have stamps. In fact, behind me, you can see one here. This is Marvin Gaye. They just issued a stamp for Marvin Gaye, a U.S. stamp. So all of your listeners, they can write in or go to the website, the U.S. Stamp Committee in Washington, D.C., and let people know that they want to have a stamp for Florence Ballard.
I really hope that goes through. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got stamps by John Lennon, Lena Horne. We have stamps by a lot of wonderful people. So, I think the Supremes and Florence, I think we did a lot for women back in the 60s, inspiring women. And I think this would be a great honor, for Flo. Thank you.
Oh, there she is.
There, Flo. There she is. And that's Diane.
So you also wrote a book called Dream Girl, My Life as a Supreme. And
Yes.
This was your first book that you wrote.
Yes.
And so what inspired you to start writing?
It was a teacher, actually. My teacher, Mr. Boone, when I was graduating from high school, and I was, singing. We have been singing, ever since I went to high school. So he said to me, Miss Wilson, I know you sing with that little group called the Supremes. He said, but if you want to pass my class and graduate and go on tour with that group, then you better pass my English class. So there I said, oh my God, and he was the kind of teacher that every student hated to have, right? You didn't want to be in Mr. Boone's class because he would fail you. Anyway, I wrote this paper about my life up to that point because the thing is, I did not know who my mother was until I was about 10, 11 years old. My aunt and uncle raised me. I mean, I knew my mom, but I thought she was another aunt. I didn't know she was my mom. And so when I was 10, I think it was, I moved with my mother and my two brothers and my brother and my sister. And I found out, that I had this called the family. And I was just horrified because I was taken from my family, from my life that I knew since I was a little baby. And anyway, I wrote about that. And I wrote about how parents can be so cruel and they can lie and this and that. Right? And so Mr. Boone said, Miss Wilson, he says, this paper is brilliant. He says, I think you should become a writer. I'm like, oh, all I want to do is go down to Motown and record, honey. That's all I want to do. Of course, I didn't tell him that. And so he passed me and he gave me this AAA, and that became the first chapter in my book, Dream Girl, My Life as a Supreme, that you mentioned. And so it was at that point that I started keeping a journal, and I started keeping writing in my diary every minute what was going on at Motown, because there was so much going on. Marvin Gaye, the Miracles, all these Stevie Wonder. We were meeting all these people, so I started keep writing about it, and that really was how I actually started, writing my book. So I wrote Dream Girl. My second one was Supreme Faith, Someday We'll Be Together. And now I have a new one out now called Supreme Glamour. It's all about the Supreme's gown, sorry. And so, yeah, that's how I started. It was all because I kept all those diaries, and Mr. Boone. So I tell my students, because I do a lot of master classes around the world, listen to your teachers because they can, really inspire you. And listen to, You may not want to do everything right now that you hear about, that parents tell you or the adults tell you about. But as I tell my son, someday you might remember, you know what, Mom, that's what Mom was talking about. Oh, okay. Just let it stay in there. There you go.
So, Dreamgirls, the Broadway musical and the film, was that adapted from The Supremes?
Well, here's my thought on that, and that is we were very famous during that time, and I believe the writers were influenced by our career, and they wanted to write a story about singers and girls and things like that, and of course, what better people to use than someone who's popular as the Supremes? So it was based on us, however. I'm told because I'm very good friends with Shirley Ralph and the ladies who were in the play, and they said, "No, girl, we went to our workshop and we worked this out, we worked that." But I think the original idea, yes, came from the Supremes. I mean, you can pinpoint so many different events that were in the movie that we, the Supremes, had. You can do it page by page by page in my book, okay? But as I tell my audience, it could not have been about us because I didn't get paid. Okay, they didn't pay me for that theatrical thing, but it was still beautiful. It was a beautiful project because it was based on us, and I'm going to stick to that. That's my story. Okay, Cheryl.
I'll stick to that too then.
And we're all good friends, and we're really good friends. So that things happen like that.
So the last thing I really wanted to talk to you about was your time on Dancing with the Stars. I have watched many seasons of the show, and I would love to hear about your experience on the show. Were the rehearsals really as strenuous as they make it seem?
Well, it's okay because as a Supreme back in the 60s, we had artist development. And we had teachers there. We had choreographers who taught us all our choreography. Mrs. Powell, who taught us the etiquettes and things of that nature. So I mean, I'm accustomed to the schedule, and it was all day. We would go in all day and work with our coach. I had a wonderful coach, Branson. Let me see if I have his picture up there, but I can't show it to you. Maybe I can grab it. And he was just the best coach in the world. So it was a long schedule, yeah, but I loved it. I mean, because I've always enjoyed, if you look at some of those clips on YouTube, you'll see the Supremes and all of our choreography. We always did that. It was not hard at all. But I actually enjoyed being on the show. I enjoyed learning dances like, the waltz and the tango and all those kind of things. So it was fun. I would have loved to have been on a lot longer. But, it's television, it's politics, it's whatever it is. And that's kind of, you have to deal with that. But I enjoyed it totally.
Yeah.
And they were, they were all very wonderful to me. I mean, all the other coaches and all the other dancers. In fact, I'm such good friends now with Allie Brooks. She and I are like really close. Yeah, she calls me Queen Mary, and I call her my little princess.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel like your nerves and expectations going into a Dancing with the Stars performance differed from performances that you're more used to?
It's hard to say because I think any entertainer, I don't believe, you don't just walk up there and just think everything is okay and people are gonna love you. I think every entertainer has this moment before they go on and like, okay, I hope everything is okay. I hope I hope I don't lose my voice. I hope my hair is right. My fly's not open. Well, for guys, I say that, but girl, you say, I hope my eyelash doesn't come off. All those, you have all those little things. Oh, sorry, that's my hair. You have all those things happening, and there's a little whatever. But I used to go to the toilet and TT, and then I go on stage and I'm fine. Once you're up there, the nerves are gone. For Dancing with the Stars, I had the same type of things, concerned about, okay, I hope I don't forget this, because you only have a week to learn the steps to whatever you're doing. So, the concern of not forgetting it. Whereas when I was with the Supremes back in the day, we would learn, we would come off the road, we'd have maybe 2 hours to rehearse with the choreographer, and then we go into the studio record. So you didn't have that concern about, forgetting something. And then you do it on stage, and so you do that every day. By the time you do it the 3 times, you know it backwards and forwards. On dancing, however, you had to actually, learn it in a week, get right on TV in front of millions of people, and hope you don't mess up. So but it's all part of the business, and it's okay. If you forget something, you forget. And the coaches were great because they would tell you. People didn't know this who were looking at TV. Here's some inside secret. They would tell you every single move as you're doing it. So they're talking to you as you're doing all your moves. They say, okay, we're doing the da 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 next and the da 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 da. So you have all that going on, which is really great. Yeah. So it's not like when we're performing on stage and you just got to memorize everything and you just do it yourself. It's all up in here. You're the only ones up in your ear, but you.
Yeah, no, seriously, but I loved watching you on that show. And I just rewatched the clips today.
Oh, okay, cool.
So what's your social media? How can people follow you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on all that. In fact, what I have going on right now. Yeah, you can find everything on me. I mean, sometimes I'm on, but I'm not on all the time by myself. I have someone at Universal who helps me out in terms of on a day-to-day thing. But when I have something going on, like the girl groups situation on Sirius XM this week, I do that kind of myself, because I get a little fun. But that's what I have. I also have Cameo. Hey. And people call me. They said, my boyfriend is having his birthday. Can you sing to me? And Congressman James Clyburn's 80th birthday is tomorrow. So I sent a video to him like Marilyn Monroe did to President Kennedy. I said, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. A happy birthday, dear Congressman James Clyburn. A happy birthday to you. Yeah. And so
my goodness. That's amazing. See, now everyone got to see your cameo, and now everyone knows what to expect. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, that is a perfect note to end on. I am just so honored that I got to speak to, again, such a legend as yourself.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, bye, Mary.
All right, Lauren, bye-bye. God bless.
Bye. God bless.
Thank you for joining us on Face to Face. We would like to thank our sponsors, Oak Tree Development and the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, and Brad Ross for the themed music. You can follow us on legacytheaterct.org.